This is Nate Williams for Seconds Out with trainer Jamie Moore. I'd like to start by saying that there's rumours going around on Twitter that the top of the card, Dillian Whyte versus Otto Wallin, is off because Dillian's got a shoulder injury. Chantelle Cameron's defending a world title on that undercard. What do you think will happen next?
Yeah, well, obviously we've just got to wait and see. If that is the case, then you'd like to think that Eddie will go ahead with the card because he's not that far off now. It's not like it's a month out of the fight, so he's got to be sort of moved or postponed. Everyone's put a lot of effort in getting ready in preparation for the fight. So Chantelle's, it's a unification fight. It's more than worthy of topping the bill itself. So hopefully they'll go ahead with the show, and yeah, we can crack on with it.
She goes up against Mary McGee. Like, what can you tell us about her?
Well, Mary's a good fighter. She's been around for a long time. She's fought some good quality opposition. She's a world champion herself. I just feel like stylistically she's made for Chantelle. Anyone who comes and tries to have a fight with Chantelle is in for a tough night's work. Chantelle's so strong. She's so accurate. She's got real good hand speed. She's got a good boxing IQ. So as good as Mary McGee is, I don't feel like she's on the same sort of level as Chantelle, and I feel like it'll be a dominant performance. With the Ring Magazine is on the line as well, Ring Magazine belt, and she's so up for this fight. She really is.
I've looked at Mary McGee's record, and in the last two fights she tends to stop people late, so she's danger throughout the fight. So, yeah. But do you think Chantelle can avoid that?
Yeah, I think she's shown that when she won the world title. She doesn't always sort of come forward and apply pressure all the time. She boxes really well on the back foot. She did that against Bashir as well in a world title eliminator, who was a big puncher. So even though first and foremost she's a pressure fighter and she's strong and relentless, that's not the only thing she can do. So she's quite adaptable, and if and when the right time, she'll put it on McGee, but she has to be a little bit cleverer in this fight because she can't take risks like she did say in her last fight, because if she does, maybe she might walk onto a big punch, and then that can be a dangerous thing.
I seen on Twitter last night that one of the other champions, Callie Reese, is potentially coming over. Yeah. So Chantelle might be getting called out.
Yeah, but obviously it's a tournament, so Callie's in a unification fight on the other side. So the winner of Chantelle's fight will be fighting the winner of that one. So Callie Reese is a nice girl. We met her when we was in the bubble down for Akib's fight last time, and yeah, listen, it's boxing, isn't it? But she can come and shout all she wants. But at the end of the day, when any of them get in there with Chantelle, more often than not they find out that the thought of what they was going to be getting in there is much different than when they're actually in there. She's a phenomenal fighter.
So the goal is to sweep up this division and then maybe potentially move up?
Or move down. She's naturally a lightweight. The only reason she's at super lightweight is because of the opportunity. Katie Taylor had all the marbles at lightweight, and even though we wanted to get the Katie Taylor fight and we was mandatory for Katie, we understood that politically it wasn't probably going to work, so we had to go a different route. And she's got herself in a position now where she's a world champion herself. She's involved in a tournament where she's going to create an undisputed champion. So then when you get to that stage, you've got undisputed lightweight versus undisputed super lightweight, and if Chantelle drops back down to lightweight, which she's capable of because she's more a natural lightweight than she's a super lightweight, then you could have both sets of belts on the line. So yeah, let's get one fight out of the way first. We've got this unification fight first, then after that it's for all the marbles, and then once we're in that position, then instead of Chantelle wanting the Katie Taylor fight, I feel like the Katie Taylor fight will make itself.
So just talking about switching between weights, because there's been a bit of talk about Mikey Garcia. Obviously lost his last fight against Sander Martin. A lot of people think he should go down, but him himself says he prefers to stay up at 147. What, from your personal point of view, as you said, like Chantelle's a natural lightweight 135, like what do you think Mikey Garcia should do?
I think someone like Garcia, when you look at the performances when he was at lightweight, they were sort of devastating, and you have to make sure you get your weight right, because there's a fine line between sort of boiling yourself down and just going big, but then taking away from your performances, or it being an effective way of improving your performances. Mikey was certainly able to do that for a certain amount of time. You do have to move up though as age, as you get older. You know, naturally you can't make the weight the same. You get naturally heavier. So maybe he feels like his natural weight is more as a welterweight, and if that's the case, then that's the case. But it doesn't mean he's going to be or can be as effective as he was at lightweight. Some people just can't do it. Some carry the power right through. But Mikey, you know, Mikey can still punch. But and I feel, what was the opponent's name?
Sandor Martin.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting enough credit for his performance. You know, slick southpaw, was very, very clever and cute defensively. So I know Mikey looked like he was sort of half a pace behind all the time, but maybe that was down to his ability as a fighter. And you know, fighting Mikey Garcia, he's like a world title fight for somebody like him. So you know, he's gonna perform. He's gonna overperform. He performed out of his skin, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Exactly. So you saying that it would be easier for your fighter Chantelle to go down than up?
Yeah, because she's moved up for opportunity rather than necessity. She's always been more of a natural lightweight, and I feel like she's probably a better lightweight. I always say to her, even when she's weighing in at super lightweight, always train and make weight as if you're going to be making lightweight, and just not actually have to make the weight part. And she does do that. She's a real consummate professional. But I definitely feel like she's more of a natural lightweight, yeah.
And going to yourself as a trainer now, you've been a champion yourself. You've trained really good fighters. What would it mean for you to train a unified women's champion, like, and complete that goal?
Yeah, I mean, I've just said this before in a different interview. That isn't a goal for me, to be honest. In terms of, you know, I'm a trainer because I like helping people out, and it started off helping a mate out, Tommy Coyle, and it's just progressed from there. My only ambitions as a trainer is whatever the fighter's ambition is, to help them fulfil that. So I don't go, you know, I want to be a world champion trainer and train an undisputed world champion. It's not a goal as such for me. I just want to help Chantelle achieve whatever she wants to achieve. If she just wanted to be a British champion, I'd want to help her achieve that. So it will mean a lot to me to see her achieve her dreams and ambitions. She certainly lives for boxing, and this is her dream, especially the Ring Magazine belt. I think that's, people talk about the Ring Magazine. If you regard it as, or you've got the Ring Magazine belt, you're the number one in the division, and that's certainly what where Chantelle wants to be. And yeah, I think she won't quite believe it until she's done it. You know, she's shy and unassuming, Chantelle. She doesn't really, you know, she doesn't speak a lot, but she can fight. And once she was presented with this opportunity, she said, 100% I want to do that. And you know, it'll mean a lot to me just seeing the emotion on her face when she's got 5 belts on her.
When Chantelle came to you, has there been any changes, doing anything different with her, or have you just kept it the same?
I think I didn't want to change her that much because she was so good at what she did, but I just feel like I've added to her. So she's got really good feet, and she's got a real good boxing IQ. So she's capable of going out there and just bulldozing people, and that's what she'd been doing. But my thing with her was, you're going to get to a certain stage where you're not going to be able to do that, and then when you can't do that, what are you going to do? So we've worked on, over the last 18 months, 2 years, adding skills, scenarios where she looks after herself defensively more. She doesn't always have to be punching, because before that, her defence was her offence. So she just punched, so the other girl didn't punch. Whereas now she can look after her, she's cuter, she tucks up better, she uses her feet to get out of different situations. So yeah, maybe she's a little bit more rounded, but in the sense of where she's as a fighter, why would you take away someone's best attributes or try and change that? It doesn't make sense.
And in terms of her getting respect and adoration from like the public, obviously in the women's game, a lot of people point to Katie Taylor and what she's achieved. Is it a matter of just collecting the belts and saying like I am the best in this division, or does she have to do a little bit more to get a name out there? And
well, she's never going to be the type to call out people and shout her mouth off, because she's just not like that by nature. And I feel as long as she does her job, she's great to watch as a fighter. She's really exciting. If she keeps winning, collecting belts, then it'll get to the stage where boxing fans will be calling for the fight. They'll go, that's the fight we need now. So if Chantelle becomes undisputed over the next 2 fights, people are going to start asking for that fight. And in the past, Chantelle has wanted the Katie Taylor fight, but it was too much risk and not enough reward for Katie Taylor. Whereas if Chantelle's undisputed champion, then of course it makes sense for both.
So how close was that Katie Taylor fight in terms of making it?
Well, it was never be able to, because I don't feel like they saw it was worth the risk for the reward. And I understand it from their point of view. Why would you want to take that risk when you don't have to? Whereas, like I say, she's a world champion now, and in 2 fights' time, she'll be undisputed champion. So then it'll be a risk worth taking for Katie.
How would you keep that when you're a world champion? Like, it's sort of like, how do you keep the hunger? How do you keep the determination to keep wanting to fight, even though you've achieved the ultimate of being a world champion?
Yeah.
Like, as a trainer's point of view, like what would you do in that case?
I think you have to keep giving them goals, keep things fresh, but ultimately that's the fighter's mentality. Is the fighter's mentality. It's difficult for us to have that type of impact, because you can have an impact here for an hour or 2 when you're in the gym, but when they're away from you, are they disciplined? Are they sticking to the diet? Are they doing the road work? Those aspects of fighting are out of the trainer's hands. So from a psychological point of view, I am quite sort of on stuff like that. I like to sort of gauge people's moods and see where they're at and have a conversation with them. See their response gives me a better indication of where they're at mentally. But you can usually see it in the performance, in the way they go about it in the gym, and nothing at all suggests that Chantelle's sort of got comfortable or is happy with what she's done. Quite the opposite. She's actually got to the stage where she's won a world title, and she's like, right, now I want more, now I want other belts, now I want to be undisputed. And it's great to see, because sometimes people win world titles and they go, right, that's it now, I've achieved my goal, I'm happy. And then when you do that, and then you see that they want to achieve more, then it's great to see, it really is.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks very much.
No problem.